In today's video, I'm going to review 5 Enneagram books that I am loving right now. If you're new here, I'm Hillary, your certified Enneagram life coach, and if you're new to this channel, I teach the Enneagram in the simplest way possible. If this is something that you're interested in, go ahead and push the subscribe button down below. But before we get started, I just want to let you guys know, stay tuned to the end of this video. I have some exciting news coming your way. You guys will be the first ones to hear about it, and so stay tuned. Okay, so diving into the 5 books that I'm loving right now, the first one's gonna be The Wisdom of the Enneagram. Obviously, this is a go-to book for me, clearly. I really think that this is a great book if you want to dive deep into the Enneagram. The author, Don Richard Rizzo and Russ Hudson, he goes into great depth of the Enneagram. He covers all 9 types. He covers their wings, their triad, the stress and growth areas, the childhood wound, the levels of development, the subtypes, and so much more. And so I really love that he covers so much of that in depth. He also goes over the roots of the Enneagram because there's so much confusion surrounding that, and so he definitely goes into that in good detail. This book covers some challenging questions for each type, things to be aware of for each type. It's not a quick and easy read, I will say that, but if you want to really grow in your knowledge of the Enneagram and understand yourself and the people in your life better, I would say this is a really good book to read. Okay, so what's the second book? Well, the second book is called, this one is a Christian book. It's called The Enneagram for Spiritual Formation. I was gifted this book. I really like this book. It has been a go-to for me, especially when I go and teach churches. He has some great insight in here. The author is AJ Sherrill. He really goes into great detail about this being just a tool. It's not a Christian tool. It's not a new age tool. It's not any kind of tool like that. It's just a tool. It's a human tool that will help us grow in self-awareness and love and understanding for each other. I love that he has that perspective in here. In this book, he gives a good overview of all 9 types. It's definitely, I mean, if you look at the size, you know, it's definitely not as in detail as that book, but it's still a good one to read if you just want a little bit of an easier read and a Christian perspective. He goes over spiritual practices for each Ennea type, and like type 2, it says type 2s must learn to serve from love, not for love. I'm like, oh, that's so good. And so he has a lot of good wisdom in here, a lot of great teaching in here. I definitely love this book and recommend it. The third book that I want to go over is, okay, so this one's kind of like a 2-part because this one is more devotional style of Enneagram books. One of my biggest go-tos has been this one from Tyler Zach. This one was gifted to me also. It's The Gospel for Achievers. It's a 40-day devotional for driven, successful go-getters. Such a great book, such great wisdom for the type 3 in here. The reason why I have 2 books, I'm gonna have to go over this one in a second, is because he only has a book for type 3 out so far. Coming early 2021, I think his type 9's book is coming out, but again, it's probably going to take a while for him to get all 9 books out. But if you are a type 3 or know a type 3, I have gifted this to lots of type 3s that I know, even to the ones that I've interviewed on here. I've interviewed a guy named Matt and a girl named Jen. They both have gotten this book and they love it. And another thing to know about this book is he is a pastor and he is a type 3. And so this is definitely written from a type 3's perspective. And I think he does a great job covering it and having great things for the type 3 to work on every day. So for example, day 1, he talks about image is everything. He says, Jesus died on the cross for your flawed self, not your successful self. And I was like, oh, that hits. He has a prayer, a teaching, and even, I don't know if you can see this. Oh, it's so hard to see. But he goes over reflections, daily reflections. So I love that about this book. Great devotion if you are a type 3. But if you aren't a type 3, I'm gonna recommend Beth McCord's books. This one is the type 5s. So this one's not a devotional, but it is all about, and she has all 9 types out. It really goes in good depth on the type 5. And she talks about the wings and the core weakness. She goes into the types really well in these books. And these are kind of small. Look, at as big as my hand, but it's cute. And so if you are looking for a book, kind of like a devotional style, I would say this is another good option, especially if you're not a 3, since this one only has 3s. But okay, so let's move right along to the 4th book that I am loving right now. And this one is for parents. I haven't taught a lot about the Enneagram and parenting. I definitely have a video coming on that, but until that comes out, I want to recommend the Enneagram of Parenting. It's a great book. It's a fun book. It has great illustrations in it. It has really simple explanations. But I will say on page 2, I love what she writes. She writes the Enneagram can be applied to children, right? It can be. If used very carefully by helping parents learn how to nurture a sensitive, artistic type, for instance, differently from a rough and tumble conquer the world type. It definitely can help you understand your child better. The one thing that I always recommend for parents and children when they're like, can I type them? I'm like, I don't know if you can type them yet, because I don't know if a child fully understands their own motivations, depending on their age. And so what I say is just watch for what's developing. Take notice of their motivations. See what is driving them, and you can kind of form an idea of like, they do seem a little bit more like a 4. And try, read in this book, okay, the type 4, even though 4's children are often friendly and warm, they sometimes feel shy and lonely and are overpowered by their own emotions. And so it might help you understand a child that does have a lot of emotions better and not expect them not to have emotions. This book, I really believe, helps you understand them and accept them and raise them in all the giftings that they have. So anyways, I think this is a great book for the Enneagram of parenting. I am loving it right now. Last book is for relationships, and this one is called The Path Between Us, The Enneagram Journey to Healthy Relationships. Susan Stabile wrote it. It's a great book for relationships. She starts with a brief overview of all 9 types, and she actually starts at the type 8 and goes 8, 9, 1 and all the way around. She goes into depth in each type. And what I love is this book actually helped my husband understand himself as an 8 better. I will say this was a great book for both of us, for me to understand him better and for him to understand him better. On page 22 in the type 8s, she says, 8s in my life have taught me that they are not intending to be aggressive. They are just trying to protect themselves. And I love that. I love that explanation. And that helps us understand the 8 better. And so she does a really good job of explaining each type and what that looks like in their relationships. She goes into how they relate to others, how others can relate to them. She gives really good advice. And what I love at the end of each chapter, it's really small. Can you even see this? It's a little gray area over here. It says, 8s and others. So she goes over 8s and 1s and 2s and 5s and 3s and 7s and 4s, stuff like that. And so, for example, she says 8s and 1s. 8s are committed and energetic like 1s, but they don't share the same focus. 1s generally focus on the problem and 8s focus on the solution. And so she gives great insight into each type versus the other type. And so I would definitely recommend this book if you want to learn more about the relationships between the types. So, well, that's all the books I have for you guys today. I have to say, did you guys notice this theme of colors? Like, is this like green, blue, teal? Like, no, I did pick a yellow book, but look at this. It's like all greens and blues. I'm like, are those like the best-selling colors or what? I have no idea. Now, the only book I definitely do love and I am still loving that I didn't review is The Road Back to You. But the reason why I didn't review it for you guys is I've already done a whole review on it. This book gets its own video, and so I will link that right here and down below. If you do want my review and my thoughts on this book, go give that a watch. Okay, so let's get to the big news. What is the big news that I wanted to share with you guys first? The big news is that I am launching an Etsy shop, and so I wanted to give you a sneak peek. The first thing I'm gonna launch is Enneagram stickers. And I have them back here. You might have seen them just sitting right here. So here's a few. I don't know how good these are gonna show up on camera, but like the type 6, can you see that? Okay, let me see. Okay, the type 6, I'm trying to because these are shiny waterproof stickers, guys. These can go on water bottles and laptops and everything. So that's the type 6. Here's all the types and each one. So like the type 5, it says calm, curious, observer, knowledgeable, wise. It's just cute little stickers for each Enneagram type. Another one that I have is, if you want the name, if you want the, the long name, I have these made. I don't know, can you see them? Let's see. Anyways, I'm trying not to get any shine on them. But anyways, I have all these stickers coming. All these are coming. And I have some that aren't Enneagram stickers. So I have like Be Kind, it's cute. And here's a fun one, Coffee, Hustle, Sleep, Repeat. I love this one. I have some Hello, my type is. I don't know if you can see those again. They're kind of shiny because they are weatherproof and they can go on anything. But anyways, there's some, but you can kind of see them right there. Hello, my name is, and this one says the perfectionist, and it has a little number. It's so cute. Oh, and I'm dropping them. So that is a little sneak peek. There's lots more. I even have some Christmas ones that are going to be coming out. Let's see if I can show you. Joyful. And then there's a little heart, little trees. I'm like terrible at showing this stuff, guys. But you will be able to purchase all of these. So if you do want to know more details and you want to know the launch date and everything, go give my social media a follow. That's where I will be letting you guys know all the stuff, all the details. You can either go to Enneagram and Coaching, that Instagram, or Hillary_McCaskey_coaching, that Instagram. I will be talking about it on both of those Instagram accounts there. So all the details are going to be announced there first. And the last thing I have for you guys is if you have watched this video and you don't even know your Enneagram type and you would like help with that, well, I am a certified Enneagram life coach, and I have a Discover You typing session that I offer over Zoom. It's 1 hour. We get into the nitty gritty. We go over your top 3 test results in depth and see which one is actually your motivation, which one actually drives you in life. And then usually we get to cover your wings and even your subtype. And so all of that information is linked down below. It says Discover You Typing Session. And if you want to find any of those books, I have linked them in my Amazon shop, and I'll link that down below in the description box. But that's all I have for today. So until next time, bye guys.